The topic of this video is on horizontal asymptotes. And really when we're talking about horizontal asymptotes, we are looking at a graph and we are really looking at as it approaches negative infinity and positive infinity on the x values, is this function approaching something? And is the something that this side is approaching the same as this, what this is approaching? So if they are, it's said to have a horizontal asymptote. So I always think, like, I reach my hands out and I say, like, what are the fingers reaching? If they're reaching the same thing on both sides, then this has an asymptote. And if the fingers are reaching two different things, then it doesn't have an asymptote, okay? A graph can absolutely touch or cross a horizontal asymptote. It's not like a vertical asymptote where it will never ever touch that dotted line. It absolutely can. And there's really three types, which don't seem helpful at the beginning but are helpful later. You can get a category of, no horizontal asymptote. You can get a category that always creates y equals 0 and a category that creates a specific number. Okay, so let's look at those three categories now. So the first category is a situation that is listed here with this example. And the situation is where the degree of the numerator, which degree, remember, is the exponent power. So the degree of the numerator in this case is 1 and the bottom is 2. This is where, we would say the degree is larger in the denominator. If that is true, okay, what ends up happening if you graph this or if you look at a table value, what ends up happening is that this graph and the fingers of it, they're both approaching 0, okay? And it's just getting closer and closer to 0. One is positive and one is negative, but it doesn't matter. Both sides of the graph are approaching this y equals 0. And this happens every time the degree is larger in the denominator. This is in every time. The second situation is where the degrees, in this case, are equal. So when the degree of the numerator is equal to the degree of the denominator. When that happens, you set up this situation. If you were to look at this graph or to look at the table, this is approaching y equals 3, okay? And the reason that it's approaching 3 is because becomes the horizontal asymptote is a ratio of the coefficients of the top powers. So what do I mean by that? If you're like, it does not make sense. Essentially what we're looking at is we're looking at the coefficient of the term with the top power in the numerator and the coefficient of the term with the highest power in the denominator, which in this case is 1. So 3 over 1 is equal to 3. So you will get an exact number here if your degrees are equal. You pull those coefficients and write that as a ratio. Sometimes it's a fraction. Sometimes it's just an integer, like 3. So it just kind of depends. The last situation is where the numerator degree is larger than the denominator. So the degree in numerator is larger than the denominator. If that happens, what you'll notice is that there is no horizontal asymptote, meaning like as the function increases and decreases, as you look at the fingers of the function here, they're approaching two different values. And this is where you wouldn't have anything. If it's not approaching the same thing, there isn't one. Okay, so again, when the power at the top is higher, it has no horizontal asymptote. One way that I started talking about horizontal asymptotes a while ago is for it to be top heavy, bottom heavy, or equal. Top heavy would mean that the degree in the numerator is larger, and this creates no horizontal asymptote. Bottom heavy would be its opposite, 0, and the same, remember, is the ratio of coefficients. So this is the main idea here at the end. So just a few examples, and then you can work on some as well. So how you can kind of think about this is the degree of the numerator in this case is 0. The degree of the denominator is 1. So this is bottom heavy. So you would write that y equals 0 is the horizontal asymptote. The one beside it, the degree of the numerator is 3. the degree of the denominator is 2. This is top heavy, so this has no horizontal asymptote. I'm going to skip to 5. The degree of the numerator is 3, and the degree of the denominator is also 3. So now I need to pull those coefficients, and I'm only looking at the highest powers. So this horizontal asymptote is y equals 1/2. So I'd encourage you to try the rest of these and check out. I'm kind of throwing in the answers right now. Check to make sure that you are on the same page as me. And if you are, fantastic. And if I've confused you at any point, please reach out and ask for help so that I can assist you. Have a great day.